Minicamp is over, and we're looking forward to training camp. What do we know at this point? Welcome back to Vikes Vibes. This is DJ. If you haven't yet, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is your place for Vikings content, my opinions, game recaps, stuff like that. It's kind of slow now. It's off season, but subscribe. We'll get it going once the season starts. Once it gets closer, go subscribe, and yeah. So as OTAs got over with for the team, rookie quarterback JJ McCarthy he spoke to the media. And he said it feels like the last day of school. He had already been planning to like create and attend what he called summer school, and spending most of his June and July in Minnesota in his new home, and spending time with his fiance, who had agreed to read JJ the Vikings play sheet on a nightly basis so he could repeat it out loud so he can get it down. He said it's a hassle, but she understands. That's pretty awesome. You got your fiance to help you out with that and support you with that, and then just to want to do that every single night. Like I've said this so many times before that JJ has that mindset of getting better every second of every day. Like this is just another example of it. So with regular visits to the practice facility this summer, JJ said he hopes to build a routine that he can rely on when it starts, getting hectic and crazy in training camp, which training camp starts July 21st for the rookies for us. So some other things here that we know so far. And there's 5 of them that I kind of I'm gonna go off of. So the number 1 is Aaron Jones. He's made a huge impression on his new teammates. For example, after signing his big contract extension, Justin Jefferson was asked about the talent on the Vikings offense, and the first name out of his mouth, he mentioned Aaron Jones. He said, "We have a whole bunch of different weapons on our offense. Just getting Aaron Jones into this offense with his ability to run the ball and being able to be explosive, it just goes back to having Dalvin Cook back on this offense. Having that same type of mindset, having that same type of similarity. I feel like he's going to do fantastic with us." Now, I feel like there really isn't anyone on this team that isn't excited to have Aaron Jones here. Like, I don't know how you couldn't be excited to have this guy here. It just the excitement from Jefferson. All the other players kind of match that excitement. And everyone, when we run the ball, they said when we run the ball this year, everyone on this team knows it'll be in good hands. Now, that's you know, I can see where Jefferson says, he kind of compares him to Dalvin Cook. They kind of have the same, um, body types that kind of built, but I mean, running style, the type of running back each of them are. I mean, I do see some similarities there, but I, I just feel like Aaron Jones runs with more power, more oomph. Like, and it's not a knock towards Dalvin Cook, not at all. Um, but I just think that Aaron Jones just has that more, the more power to his running downhill, uh, and stuff like that. So, number two, the coaches really want to see Jalen Naylor. Um, when KJ Osborne left and signed with New England Patriots in free agency, the Vikings didn't immediately go out and replace him. Um, for one, they knew that they were going to sign Jefferson to a huge extension, which finally got done. Jordan Addison, he'll be on his rookie contract for the next 2 seasons at least. And then the two free agent signings that we did make in Brandon Powell and Trent Sherfield, they're both on 1-year deals, and they'll only go 3.8 million against the cap. So, Jalen Naylor, it was a 6th-round draft pick in 2022, and he struggled with injuries in 2023 into the 2024 off season. And he missed mandatory mini camp with the flu, which, I mean, that's really unfortunate. In his first 2 seasons, which were very limited, he's proven to be a slippery target, as they said. He's taken 160 snaps and ran routes on 22 of them, and he's been targeted. Or no, I'm sorry, 160 snaps and ran routes on 72 of them. He's been targeted 20 times, and he's caught 12 for 208 yards and a touchdown. So, now you go to the head coach, Kevin O'Connell. He was asked in the spring about the competition for the third wide receiver spot, and he mentioned Jalen Naylor before any of the others. And he said this. He said, Jalen has always been a guy that when he's healthy and on the field, he shows up on every single opportunity he's gotten. That's our challenge to him. Sometimes some things are out of our control, and we understand that. But for him to take that next step, we're going to need him out there a lot as part of that group. I mean, for a coach, I understand saying that to the media. You're not just going to go out there and say, no, this this guy's not going to get the wide receiver number 3 position. You can't go out there and just feed him that. But for me, in my honest opinion, I believe Brandon Powell should get the wide receiver 3 hands down. No questions asked. Brandon Powell came up big last season more than once. If it's me, it's an easy decision. Brandon Powell for wide receiver 3. There shouldn't be any questions about it. No ifs, ands, or buts. No. Brandon Powell has has earned that. And you know, anywhere else, like if he were to go somewhere else, he could easily be, you know, a wide receiver 2, and hell, even a wide receiver 1, depending on where he goes. But I'm just saying he deserves to be a starter. You know, the wide receiver 3, with Addison at the 2 and Jefferson at the 1. Um, so yeah, Brandon Powell. I mean, I get that Jalen Naylor, they want to see more out of him, but he's not the guy. You know, just have him as depth. Uh, yeah, that's about it. I just hope Brandon Powell gets that 3rd spot. The 3rd thing on the list here is all eyes on the green dot. So with Jordan Hicks gone, there will be a new player on defense wearing the green dot, which the green dot is on the back of the helmet. They get the play call in their headset, in their helmet from Brian Flores. So I kind of touched on this in my Ivan Pace Jr. video. You know, the role is very notable with how much defensive coordinator Brian Flores rotates on defense, you know, according to his weekly game plans from week to week. And then, you know, last year when Jordan Hicks got injured and Ivan Pace Jr. filled in for him, he you know, in those 4 games, Ivan Pace Jr. played 100% of the defensive snaps, averaging 60 snaps per game. And I mean, he came up big, no doubt about it. He appeared to be a top contender for the green dot during spring practices. KOC said Pace has had a very good spring just with the type of communication Brian Flores is putting on his plate. But he also mentioned that they will also be taking a look at newcomers Blake Cashman and Kamu Gruder-Hill. And, you know, here, it's kind of a no-brainer here as well. Not as much as the wide receiver 3 thing, but, you know, if it's me, it's Ivan Pace Jr., you know, at least for the majority of it, that should get that role. It'll definitely be interesting, what they decide to do at the defensive green dot, and I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that for sure, and seeing what they do there, and if it's working. So the number 4 thing, top 2022 draft pick is maybe on some thin ice. So rewind to 2022, Kwesi's first draft as a GM. We have the 12th pick, and we trade down to number 32, the last pick in the first round. Well, Detroit took Jameson Williams at 12, and then us at 32, we take Lewis Cine. Now, I remember at the time thinking, what the hell? Like, who in the F is this guy? I've never heard of him. I'm pretty sure most Vikings fans were thinking the same thing. Then after the draft, I see his college highlights from Georgia, and you know, I thought to myself, like, damn, this guy can hit. He hits hard. So I'm like, you know, maybe he'll be a good pick after all. So then we wait to see him on the field, but we didn't really get to see much of him. And then week 4 in London against the Saints, it sucks. He sustains a very gruesome leg injury that uh, it ends his rookie season. So since being drafted, he's only played in 10 NFL games and only a total of 10 defensive snaps. So he hasn't really gotten any time in the NFL. So um, now this could be a situation where if he leaves and goes somewhere else and he tears it up, I mean, we wouldn't have known that because he never had the chance to show it here. And I mean, I'm not blaming the coaches. I mean, it it just how it goes sometimes. And mostly for his injury, but also with the depth we have on this team, Lewis Cine might have the toughest chance of earning a roster spot. His salary for 2024 is $1.7 million guaranteed. So he could return for emergency depth and special teams. But, at this point, I think it would take a lot for him to get playing time on defense. Just for the simple fact that number one, we have so much depth that is more proven than Lewis Cine is at this point. So I think that's probably the number one thing with that. Um, I just feel like Lewis Cine's situation is just kind of an unfortunate event where a player gets injured and it derails his career. It's nothing that they do. It's shitty. They get injured and it just screws everything up. I mean, I do wish him the best and, hope he succeeds wherever his journey takes him. And, if that's with the Vikings, I mean, or, with a different team, wherever he goes, I do wish him the best. So, then the last thing is there is a new kicker in town, and, well, he can kick. Rookie kicker Will Ricard is his name, and he has showed already that he has the leg to kick in the NFL for a long time. In the Vikings' final OTA, which was they moved it inside because of the rain, Ricard damn near hit a balcony that was on the wall behind and above the goalposts while kicking 40 and beyond 40-yard and beyond attempts. That's wow. Then later on, in a drill with an actual defense, he nails a 60-yard field goal that landed in a net that sits 10 feet behind the goalpost and 10 feet off the ground. Holy shit. This guy is going to be a hell of a kicker. I just hope it doesn't end up like the Daniel Carlson situation where he started off rocky, we let him go somewhere else and just tears it up. I hope it doesn't end up like that. Hopefully this guy can just nail kicks right off the bat and yeah. So that is some things we learned after the spring and going into training camp. So which one of these piques your most interest? Let me know. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell for future videos. Audio is on podcast platforms so you can listen. And follow us on social media. And yeah. See you later.